So hello and welcome back to another Motovlog. Now today I'm taking the old bike for its M.O.T. Now for all my friends out there in YouTube land that don't know what an M.O.T is, it's the Ministry of Transport test, where all vehicles over 3 years old have to be tested to make sure that they're in a roadworthy condition. You know, they check the tyres and the brakes and the lights, indicators, check the emissions as well, and basically the overall condition of the motorcycle or of the car, whatever you're taking for an M.O.T. Now the M.O.T tests in the United Kingdom, I think it dates back to 1960, I think, when they decided to make sure all vehicles were roadworthy, because there was a lot of people out there who didn't look after their vehicles. There still is quite a few people out here who don't look after their vehicles. But it's always a worry to go for an M.O.T. You don't know what it's going to fail on, especially if you've got an old car or an old motorcycle like this one. This bike's near enough 25 years old. So there's possibly 101 different things it could fail on, but we shall see. Now a couple of years ago this bike was recommissioned. It had stood for about 6 years, and the fork seals were replaced and the tyres were replaced, new brakes, brake lines, all that sort of thing. So we're hoping that it's going to pass. But you don't know what's going to happen on the day. It looked okay this morning when I checked it all over, but of course riding down to the test centre you may blow a bulb, or an indicator could fail, or whatever, you know, and you take your bike in and they test it and check everything out, and you're left with a hefty bill because something's gone wrong. But you know, it's better to be safe and make sure that all your bits and pieces are working. Now I'm going down to a motorcycle garage called R.W.H Motorcycles in Lincoln. Been using them for several years. I always used to look after a Yamaha TDM 850 that I had a couple of years back. So yes, every vehicle, when it gets to its third year, on its third birthday, has to go for one of these tests. and that goes up until they're 40 years old, and then after 40 years you don't have to MOT them, which I always find very strange, because you know me, I go to all these car and motorcycle shows all over the country, and some of the shows we go to, you see some very, very rough cars, you do indeed, cars that shouldn't be on the road. But if they're more than 40 years old, then you know they don't have to be checked over, which is a bit of a loophole really. I know when I used to own classic cars and show them, I always used to take mine for an MOT even though it didn't need it, just to make sure that it was roadworthy, you know. But a lovely morning this morning, a bit chilly and very, very bright sunlight, so I do apologise for the glare on the camera. I have got the Pro Tune on, and I have turned the EV down on it to try and get a better picture, but it doesn't always work. One minute you're riding in the shadows, and the next minute you're riding in bright sunlight, and the camera's wondering what to do. Now it's going to take them about an hour or so to look at the bike, so I shall leave it with them, and I've got a flask of coffee with me, so I shall go and find a place to sit somewhere and have my coffee, and then go back and see if the bike's alright. Of course, we've still got the coronavirus here in the United Kingdom to contend with. So we're not allowed into any cafes or bars or restaurants at the moment. You can go and sit outside them, that's okay, but you're not allowed inside. But it is a glorious morning this morning. It's going to be a really lovely sunny day today. That's why I thought I'd bring the bike out for its MOT while I could, as next week I think it's going to pour down with rain every day, so that won't be too good. I don't fancy getting wet. That's just one of those things that you have to contend with when you ride a motorcycle. Now, many years ago I used to ride in all weathers, rain, sleet, snow, high winds. But now I'm older, you could say I'm just a fair weather biker now, you know. But you can't beat riding a motorcycle on a day like this. Oh, lots of people out and about this morning, on their way to work and on their way to the shops. You wouldn't think there was a pandemic on now. But the deaths in this country now have gone down because of all the lockdowns that we've had and restrictions. I think we're getting about, on average, about 20 deaths a day now. But all eyes are still on the rest of the world. Some places are still getting over 1,000 deaths a day, which is terrible. Okay, so here we are at R.W.H motorcycles. So I've just dropped the motorbike off, and we'll see if it passes its M.O.T or not. So we'll go and find a place to sit and have a coffee. Right, we shall make our way into the city of Lincoln. We're possibly going to find a seat down by Lincoln's Brayford Pool, get my flask out, have a cup of coffee, and wait for R.W.H motorcycles to give me a ring. Well, there we have Lincoln's magnificent cathedral over there in the distance. Right, well, here we are, Lincoln's Brayford Pool. I found myself a seat, so we'll just sit here for half an hour or so, watch the world go by, and wait for R.W.H motorcycles to give me a ring. Right then, I've just had a phone call from R.W.H motorcycles, and it's good news. The old bike has passed its M.O.T with flying colours. So that means another riding around for another year without having to worry about the M.O.T. So right, I'll just finish off my coffee, and then we shall nip back to the garage and pick the old bike up, and then make our way home. Okay, that's it, brilliant. That's the bike M.O.T'd for another year. I've been taking motorcycles to R.W.H motorcycles for many years, since the late 1980s I've been going there. Always get a good service from them. So that's it, the bike is M.O.T'd for another year. So we can do a lot more moto vlogs now. As long as the weather stays fine, that is. And of course, as long as this COVID keeps at bay, like I was saying earlier on. We're down to about 20 deaths a day here now, which is a lot different from about 4 months ago. We were getting about 1,000 deaths a day, so it is coming down, but all eyes are on the rest of the world, like I was saying earlier on. Especially places like India. We're hoping that we're not going to go into a 4th lockdown. We're hoping we can keep everything at bay. But of course we are inoculating people, as many people as we can. I've had my first dose so far. Now, if you've been a regular viewer to my Motovlogs, you will know that last year I put this bike back on the road again because there were several ride outs and anniversary rides and all things that I wanted to do, but unfortunately, due to the coronavirus, of course, none of those got done. And I'm hoping to do them this year, but not looking too good though, I'm afraid. Even though the deaths have come down here, like I was saying, lots and lots of events have still been cancelled because there's still this worry that infections will go up, so might not be able to do all those runs and that I wanted to do. Certainly I wanted to go to the Chroma Carnival and take part in the carnival procession which goes through the streets of Chroma, where you get about 300 to 400 motorcycles on the Sunday that ride through Chroma, up through the town centre and that, and down to the showground. But that's all been cancelled already, so there's also the Lincoln Bike Fest I wanted to ride down to and park the bike up. But I believe that's also been cancelled as well, so maybe next year I'll get a chance to do all these things. I was going to actually hold off putting the bike back on the road again, but I enjoyed myself last year just roaming around the Lincolnshire countryside, and it's possibly what we'll end up doing again this year. I've only got the one camera on here today. Normally I have 3 cameras on the bike. One down by the cylinder there, one on the front here, and of course there's one on my helmet, but because the bike was going for an M.O.T, I didn't put the other cameras on. there is plenty of people about today. And the sunshine is very, very bright as well. And this GoPro I'm using doesn't like this very low, bright sunlight. Well, we got a smiley face today. Doing 28 miles an hour in a 30 there. Right, I'm nearly home now, so I think I'll cut the video here. I hope you enjoyed this. It's ride to the M.O.T station and back. And the old bike has passed as well, which is great. Means I can ride it for another year. Weather permitting, of course. And COVID permitting as well. Because we don't know what the year's going to turn out like. So, anyway, thank you all so very, very much, everybody out there in YouTube land, for watching this video. And if you've enjoyed this video, then maybe you'd like to give me those thumbs up and subscribe, right? So I shall see you all later. So until the next video, thanks for watching.